Welcome to today's episode. Today I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes on a full portrait shoot with an actress called Anna. She's in BBC One's Casualty, you might have seen her on TV and various things. She basically commissioned me just to do some shots, not so much headshots. I don't really do headshots. I try to deliver more of a full editorial kind of package, if you like. So different looks, different outfits, different lighting, different cameras, shoot on some analog, mainly on digital, but I did shoot some analog on this shoot. Okay, so we're going to be taking you behind the scenes. This is my new studio. This is set in the industrial wastelands north of the Wall in Sheffield. It's still like a working area, to be honest. It's where I started my career with my dad years ago, working for Stone's Brewery. You can still smell beer being brewed in this area. You can still hear steelworks banging away and stuff like that. Banging away is the wrong term. Also, you can buy a £9 flat white or a latte. It's amazing what gentrification does. And there's nowhere to park, so that's... So as I said, I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes on a full portrait shoot. Basically, when I get commissioned to do a portrait shoot, I don't want to just give them one thing. I don't just want to give them like a headshot, a really nice headshot, and that's it. I'm aiming for a full package. So always start off, I've got two good windows in this studio. I always start off getting them under the window, just a basic plain, it's just a curtain that I use as a grey backdrop at the minute because it's got a bit of texture to it. It's really nice. I need to steam it actually, there's a few creases in it, but on analog it's not as important because of the shallow depth of field that I tend to shoot at. I shot something on the RZ67 under that lighting and also did some digital as well, which I'll show you later on. After that we moved into the main studio area where we shot some feathered softbox. I've got a big 90cm, it's called a parabolic nanlite softbox. It's not parabolic, it's just that kind of shape, if you like. So I shot some stuff feathered with that. Then we started to put the pavo tubes in the background just to put some colour onto the background. It's a very strange, I don't even know what colour it is, this colour armour that I use. It's kind of, I want to say beige, but it's not even beige. It's kind of, it's like a really lousy coffee kind of colour. But sometimes under the right lighting, it kind of looks really nice. I'm going to scruff it up as well a little bit and see if I can make it look a bit more battered and canvassy. But it reacts to colour really well, it takes colour really well, so that's why I used it on this. Then we swapped over to the white light, the white backdrop. I also use it's a big Calumet collapsible reflector type thing. You know, like the California sun bouncers, which is on a frame. It's that kind of thing that Calumet did years ago. I've got different covers for that, so I've got a diffusing screen for it, and I just hang that up on the ceiling, pull it back a little bit at the bottom, and what that does is then I bounce a softbox up onto the ceiling and then back down through this kind of silk, this kind of scrim thing. I'll show it you in action in a bit, and that gives me the most, it emulates window light. Obviously in Northern England, from October onwards, the light coming through that window is going to be like really blue. If there's any light at all, it's going to be dark at like 4 p.m. So that's why I built this kind of little system so I could emulate daylight. But it also gives me, in this instance, it gave me a very soft, it fills the kind of the set, if you like. So the model can move around, but it gives me this very soft kind of beauty, editorial light, the kind of thing you would see on a double page spread maybe in a women's magazine or something like that. So we used that. I only shot 2 rolls of film on this shoot. As I said, I will show you those in the contact sheet, but it's mainly digital because it was obviously actors prefer colour. The casting directors prefer to see colour shots as well. But as I said, it wasn't a headshot session. This was a full-on kind of portrait. We were about 4 hours. I think we talked non-stop for 3 hours and 50 minutes, probably just shot for 10 minutes. But we did get some really nice pictures, completely different looks. That's one of them there. Magic thumb. Now it was quite a hot day when we shot this, so we got the fan in just to cool everybody down, to be honest, and had the windows open. But then we did some kind of fun shots with the fan, getting the fan in the scene. Just something to kind of towards the end of the shoot, sometimes you have to kind of, I didn't really have to liven Anna up, she was lined with the whole way through, but it just kind of keeps the momentum going, keeps the ideas coming as well. The more that you're thinking about, the more kind of creative ideas that just appear. What you will see me do a lot of is I tend to do a setup. If I can just use one light, I will always use one light, sometimes two, maybe the pavo tubes or something on the background, but that's generally it. Never try and use more than two. But what you will see me do is I'll do a setup. I'll start with a setup, fairly basic, and you'll see me throughout the shoot just kicking the light maybe, or moving my box that I'm sat on, just little kind of movements just to kind of get a slightly different look. Or I'm looking at Anna's face and I'm thinking, well, that, you know, there might be kind of like an ugly shadow that's just cutting across the nose, like cuts across the face, that kind of thing. And I'm just altering the light, but just kicking it round slowly, just moving everything around. So everything's adapting as I'm shooting. I think this is one of the reasons sometimes when I'm editing a full shoot, I'll do a certain look on an image, and then that's another image from that session, I can't get that same look. And the reason is because I probably moved the light round. And that changes everything. That changes what's happening with the background, the foreground, the subject. So, but you'll see me do that a lot, and I do that all the time no matter what I'm shooting. I'm always playing with the lights just to get that kind of angle. The other thing I'm doing a lot of is, as I said, talking to the subject. That's the most important thing. Always talking to the subject. That's when you see the kind of little things that they're doing, the little habits that they might do with the hair, or just pull their ear kind of thing. Just things like that. And then when I see that, I'll be kind of like, hold, let's get that, and then we shoot that. And that way you're not micro-posing them all the time. You're not micro-directing them, should I say. So it just gives you that just gives you another angle, another option. It just gives you extra shots rather than just straight on into camera, kind of side on school portrait type nonsense. And then I'm changing things like changing the where she's sitting. Often I'll get them to sort of point the knees in one direction and then twist the shoulders in the other, so that kind of narrows everything. Once they know why you're doing stuff as well, and I'm always telling them what I'm doing, that gives them more confidence in you, because they know they don't have to just sit there and do it all themselves. A lot of people that shoot actors, so many people say to me, shooting actors must be amazing because they just know what to do, they know their angles. Well, they don't, because when they're filming, they're told what to say, they're told where to stand, they have a script and they have a story and they have a narrative in their head that they've got to run through. In a still session, you don't get that. Okay, so I think you have to direct actors more because they're used to being told what to do. So by doing it in a relaxing manner, you just get the best out of actors. I use continuous light throughout this shoot, as well as the window. One of the reasons I've started using continuous light on portraits, especially of actors, is I sometimes like to put together these little kind of just 20-second sort of montage clips, moving portraits, no audio. It's just a moving portrait. It's the same thing as you would shoot a still. It's landscape, and they're kind of moving. It's often slowed down, or I shoot it at 50 frames per second just so it's a bit slower. You can get a bit of movement in the hair, you can get them smiling. It's nice for casting directors to see that kind of thing, how they interact with a camera. It shows how confident they are in front of camera as well. So that's a nice little kind of addition, which I only started doing those last year, but I really, really like them. So I stick to doing those. And that's one of the reasons I don't use flash so much anymore in the studio. It's also because Nanlite keeps sending me kit, which I'm so grateful for. I get sent a lot of Nanlite stuff, and I'm not really sponsored by them. They just send me kit, and then I might do a little reel. If I don't particularly like what they've sent me, or I don't use it, I don't really talk about it, but they've sent me so many things recently. Projector, Fresnel, everything all the lighting here is the Nanlite stuff, so it's allowed me to do the YouTube stuff as well. So that's why I'm using continuous. But when Nanlite first got in touch with me, I wasn't so keen on continuous. I just remember it from the old days. It was hot, it was heavy, it was awful to use. But the new stuff is absolutely stunning. So it's allowed me to, like I said, it's allowed me to do the YouTube stuff. It's allowed me to do the moving portraits. And it's just something else you don't have to think about. You're not having to tether it, sort of thing. You're not having to worry about flash triggers and stuff like that. And you can control everything. You control most of them are bi-colour, some of them are full colour. So you can control all that from an app from your phone. So the Nanlite stuff has just given me a little bit more creative freedom, especially for Fresnel and the projector attachment. I'll be doing some videos on those shortly, so you'll see those in action. So stay tuned for those. Anyway, enjoy this BTS of the shoot with Anna, and there'll be more to come. Any questions, just pop them in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because that helps me feed my dog. Thanks.